One, the lack of male teachers. Well, we're telling men that $40,000 and $50,000 ain't enough. So why would they choose to go into those positions? Because
in Atlanta,
more than likely, Shantae, I love you like a play cousin, but if you use Atlanta as the benchmark one more time,
ain't Chicago either. You're not getting
Atlanta ain't the benchmark. It's not.
But you're missing his point. Let him get his point out.
Right, Atlanta is not the benchmark for the country. It's just not. Maybe everybody out there is making 85,000.
I think we've just moving into a society where we have taught our children that they don't have to work hard for anything. So we are beginning to see it in the classroom is a trickle down effect. We think that we don't have to work hard, but we still expect the outcome that we see at the end. So the kids are not putting forth that effort. The other side to that too is, especially with boys do learn differently. Women are much more language-based teachers. Mm-hmm. Boys are more physical-based learners.
Yeah.
So in that regard, they do struggle a lot of times. I mean, even if you just like talking too long to a dude, you see that they, veer off. Mm-hmm. So the hands-on aspect is definitely key. But even bigger than that, it is relationship. So even though we are lacking a lot of male teachers, which we need, but everybody keeps saying, if you're a Black man, don't go to school, don't teach, don't be a teacher. But we do need male teachers. Seeing how Black male teachers interact with our Black male boys is a totally different response than them reacting and working in line with women, female Black teachers. Mm-hmm. So we do need y'all.
So let me
other thing, but with my
until then,
the point about the education in terms of who fares better. So the study that I did basically focused on which type of outcome is better for Black students with disabilities. That was my focus. My background is in special education. So with that study, the outcome that came was that if learning, if a comparison between traditional high school versus a vocational school, in which students would have a better outcome and long-term success. The results of that study showed that hands-on learning, so those kids that went to those academy schools that learned a specific trade or specific, in IT or automobile or whatever, the long-term outcomes of that showed that they fared better once they graduated high school versus just the traditional high school where you're taking normal classes.
Exactly.
So, and knowing that, you would think that most schools would say, okay, we want better outcomes for all of our students. My focus was just on Black students with learning disabilities. So if their outcomes fare better, then you would assume, right, that in general, that should work for everybody. Mm-hmm. But we have not adjusted our teaching style to accommodate that.
That's a fact. So and there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that because
that makes one think, what is the purpose behind that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're saying that they need to have more trades in the schools. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. They definitely, it needs to. So our focus is always trying to prepare kids to go to college. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. You want to set a kid up for the best, to give them the most options that they possibly can get. If they want to go to college direction, they have enough skill set to go in that direction. If they want to go in directly into workforce, you want to provide them enough skills to do that. But in either of those environments, our kids are not learning what they truly need to be prepared once they leave high school. And that's a fact. So when you're competing against social media, everything that is, hands-on now, kids are not engaged, especially our Black boys. They're just not engaged because we're not teaching them anything that is gonna, necessarily, if you're not already of the mindset that I want to learn, it's gonna be that much harder to teach somebody that can't connect with what you're teaching them with.
So let me connect a couple of dots real quick too, right?
Because so we're losing panelists. Go ahead.
Because we talked about the lack of male teachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we also talked about the boys in school and how they just want to be basketball players, athletes, entertainers, rappers, or whatever, right? So what are two things that we're seeing here? One, the lack of male teachers. Well, we're telling men that $40,000 and $50,000 ain't enough. So why would they choose to go into those positions? Because
in Atlanta,
more than likely, Shantae, I love you like a play cousin, but if you use Atlanta as the benchmark one more time,
ain't Chicago either. You're not getting
Atlanta ain't the benchmark. It's not.
But you're missing his point. Let him get his point out.
Right, Atlanta is not the benchmark for the country. It's just not. I don't. Maybe everybody out there is making 85,000, but that's not the case around the rest of the country.
What I'm saying is, even if the money is there, they're still not wanting to do it. I'm saying in Atlanta, that's not the issue, and we still don't have enough.
Okay, so what I'm saying is there is a demographic of men who would definitely be teachers if they thought the money would be sufficient enough for them to provide for their families. They would. There's a lot of black men that go to college and they don't choose that profession, not just because they don't want to teach, but just because of the fact they don't perceive the profession as being enough for them to be able to provide for their family or be accepted by women. Even if that's a small demographic of men, it still exists. That's all I'm saying, right? So now let's look at the kids that want to be basketball players and all this other stuff, rappers and all this other stuff. What do they see when they see these guys? They see these guys with a lot of money very quickly. That's why they want to be in those positions. You don't think they're here, their mothers or their sisters or their aunties or their grandmothers for the fact of matter, saying that men don't make enough money and this ain't enough and that ain't enough and you have to be willing to do this and provide. You don't think that they hear the girls of their generation saying that they want the Birkin bags and they want the red bottoms and they know that it's going to take a lot for them to be able to afford that. And it's going to take me too long going to school for 4 years to be this, 8 years to be that, 12 years to be that. I need to get it now. I need to have that now. I'm being told I'm a man now. I'm being told when I turn 18 that life is going to be different for me. I'm not going to be a kid anymore. I need to get to it now, right? Now, let's be honest. We're not doing as bad as people try to make it seem like we're doing as black people. We're doing a lot better than people try to make it seem. Okay, so
but the thing is that how that thought process is flawed is that even if they see that, somebody needs to tell them that the likelihood of them making it in the NFL, making it in the NBA, making it in entertainment, that the likelihood of that happening is not there. So what other skills can you learn that may be within that trade? So how can you be a coach? How can you be a physical therapist for the NBA? How can you? So it's all about exposure. Our kids lack exposure in the school system, don't provide it, especially now. We used to have field trips. We used to be able to go to these things. Those things do not happen anymore.
Oh, wait a minute, mistaken. Guess what? And the vocational training used to be in the schools too, in the inner cities, in the black communities. They took them out intentionally. You understand, to deprive black children of being able to attain that particular knowledge that put them in fields where they would be able to compete with other races for those type of jobs and union type of jobs. Now, thankfully in Chicago, I know this because like I said, my mom was a teacher. They started bringing it back. My son now has access. He's 17. He's on his way to graduate. He's on pace to graduate on time, right? He has access to those apprenticeship programs where he can go and learn trades for free. He can pick one, and if he don't like it, he can start another one. You see what I'm saying? So we have a whole plan set up for my son when he graduates high school. But that's because I'm there. Not a lot of these kids have that. And so to Logic's point, that's the original sin. That's the original problem, is that it's way too much, as Logic would put, pardon my language, dick and pussy, right? And it's not enough marriage, it's not enough family. It's too many women outside of the household, too many men outside of the household. You see what I'm saying? The men don't live there and the women off working. While I understand Siobhan's point to the parents being very unattentive, they working their asses off. You know what I'm saying? They working too much. They got to go put in 10, 12 hours a day trying to make ends meet. Now, they have to do that because of the decisions that they made, right? So we don't want to play victim Olympics, but I am saying, look, like I remember when my son went to 4th grade and he came back with that math, I was like, yeah, son, I can never help you again with this. I have no clue what these people are. And this was the 4th grade. In the 4th grade, I was a king in math, right? When he came back with that 4th grade and it was letters and E equals W25 triangle P47, I'm like, bro, you better go Google this. I have no clue what to do with this. You know what I'm saying? His mom was a math genius, right? She would show him how to get the answers done. He would have the right answer, and the teacher would still mark it as wrong because he didn't do it the way in the order that she wanted him to do it.